Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, what I thought I might do is I'm going to go over my budget four-wheel drive build, give you an updated tour. I'll give you the full tour of all the things that I've done to it so far, which is what I would consider to be stage one of my build. And to me, stage one is like the absolute essentials that I felt I needed to get in order to have a pretty capable, reliable touring and camping vehicle with the ability to do some of the more challenging terrain, but to keep it all at a really low budget. So what I have is a 2000 model Prado, Landcruiser Prado. It is a 4-cylinder 2.7 litre petrol, and it's an automatic. So first of all, the point that I want to make is when you're looking to get into four-wheel driving or a new vehicle and you're getting into a build, a lot of the time, and I'm guilty of this as well, we can have these ideas stuck in our head of what we need to get, like it's got to be a diesel, for example. That was one of the things that I was thinking in my head, or it's got to be a manual because manual's cooler and whatever. And there are some advantages and disadvantages to diesel and manual and petrol and auto. The reality is I'd much rather have an auto petrol than no four-wheel drive, and there are some things about the petrol which make it much more appealing to me, and same with automatic. And once I got over that idea in my head that it had to be a manual, turbo diesel, blah blah blah, once I got over that, the options for me opened up a lot. So I ended up paying $6,000 for my Prado, which is great for the budget because it left me with a lot of money to do all the modifications that I wanted. So I had a fully functional, reliable, registered, ready to go four-wheel drive for $6,000. I have spent a few $1,000s since then on modifications, taking it from its stock form, which it was totally stock when I got it, to where it is now. And so far I'm loving it. It's great. It's a little bit sluggish on the highway, when you're trying to keep up with the highway speeds, but you know what? I'm not trying to get anywhere quickly. I'm just trying to get out there into the bush and go adventuring and camping, and it's perfect for that. It was, like I said, completely stock when I bought it. So I'll go through what I did pretty much from start up until now. The first thing that I did when I got it was I removed the side steps and the mud guards. I bought some bigger and more capable mud tires, and I got them on Sunraysia steel wheels. I actually bought these pre-owned, so I bought them off someone on the internet for 350 bucks. I got 5 wheels and tires with pretty decent tread left on them. I'd say there's still about half the tread left on them now, and I've been using them a little bit. That was the first thing that I did, because anyone that's been off-roading will pretty quickly realize, especially when there's mud involved, that the standard tires are absolute rubbish. After I'd got the wheels and tires on there, I started working on some of the touring mods. I got myself a roof rack, just a King's roof rack. That's about 400 bucks, I think. And then I mounted on top of the roof rack my light bar, which is, I think it's Peak lighting. I don't even know if they make those anymore. It was just one that I had in the garage that I was waiting to put on something, and it's actually worked out really good. It's the perfect length and perfect size, fits under the roof rack nice. Got myself a Darchi or Darch awning. I don't really know how you say it. I like it. I like Darchi. I think that sounds better. It's a 2.5 meter, just your standard awning, just comes out the side. And I went with the Darchi one because although you can get cheaper ones, you got Kings and some of the other brands for about half or less than half of what I paid for this one. I just thought I'll go for something not the most expensive, but just something decent brand. Get a bit more durability out of it. And I actually found one of the big advantages with this one over one of the cheaper ones is the canvas itself is quite a bit thicker. So when you're out on a hot day, it actually does a much better job of keeping the heat off you. You can really feel with some of the thinner ones the heat coming through. After that, I got myself the snorkel. just for, you know, a bit of insurance policy. I really don't plan on taking it through anything deep enough that I would necessarily need it anytime soon, but sometimes you don't know how deep something is until you're in it. I also got a shovel and high lift jack, and just the mounts for it. Mounts are from King's, about 35 bucks I think, something like that. High lift jack is 100 bucks, shovel 10 bucks. I've also got on the top, let's see if I can show you, I've got a solar panel, and that's to power my second battery, which runs my fridge. I'll show you that in a minute. It's just 110 watt, it was about $80, nice and cheap. And then yeah, I ran a sort of, the leads are in here, I ran a custom little conduit setup, and I ran it to an Anderson plug with a little waterproof boot, and I've run another Anderson plug with some fairly thin wire, still thick enough for the ampage it's carrying, but some fairly thin wire, and that way I can tuck it in the window there, so it's kind of a temporary plug-in rather than making holes in the roof. Works really good, means that I can keep my fridge running pretty much 24/7 even if I'm not driving, and I haven't run out of power yet. The other major mod that I've done, which you probably noticed, is I gave it a suspension lift. It was originally a 2-inch lift, front and rear, and I got Bilstein shocks and King springs, and now I've actually got standard, just factory springs from the front of a 105 series. You can also use 80 series springs, but if you put the front springs in the rear, they're nice and soft. So I don't know if I'll be able to illustrate this, but I can actually rock the car just with one hand quite nicely. It's really really smooth and soft suspension, but it has heaps of travel, and yeah, it does mean that it's a little bit higher than the 2 inches at the back. So I'd say most important things to do on any four-wheel drive would be wheels and tires. Just get some aggressive, capable tires on there, and yeah, a little suspension lift, you know, at least 2 inches. I'll show you what I've done under the hood. There's nothing crazy under here, it's just a couple of basic little mods. Got the 4-way breather kit over here, so you know, I've got front, rear diff, transmission transfer case, all breathing nice and clean from in the engine bay up high. Eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to box this in a watertight box, and then run a line, like a thicker line, into the clean side of the airbox, and that'll just mean that everything's breathing nice and clear from the snorkel. But at the moment that's perfectly fine where they are. When I installed those, I didn't actually have the snorkel, so that's why I didn't do it then. But yeah, so then over this side I've just got another Anderson lead set up. This one is for when I pump up my tires. I've got an air compressor, I'll show you that in the back, but I just run a lead to here, and that way I can get a better connection, because the alligator clips that they give you with them are pretty rubbish. So yeah, I prefer Anderson connectors myself. And then all this is just my sort of custom wiring job that I've done. I've got fuses and stuff down there, relay. It's just for my light bar and my battery charger, which I've got set up in the back. And then this is just my UHF aerial, just a GME. It's one of their basic starter kits. I'll show you the hand piece inside, but yeah, that's just mounted on here with one of these little angled mounting brackets, and then I just got it running in there and through the firewall. That's pretty much it. Other than that, that's your standard 3RZ petrol engine, nice and simple. And like I was saying before, there's a few reasons why you might actually prefer a petrol over a diesel. For me, the cost is a big factor. So because it's a budget build, buying a petrol means I could buy a much cheaper vehicle to start with, but also they're heaps cheaper to maintain. So although you might get better fuel mileage on a diesel and you think you're saving your money at the pump, the maintenance is going to cost you a lot more. The car costs you a lot more to begin with, and when something does go wrong with diesel, it's often pretty catastrophic, depending on the diesel obviously. But yeah, I just find petrols are Cheaper to replace, cheaper to fix, and cheaper to buy. As far as the cab is concerned, I just got the absolute bare essentials. I've got a CD player here, just a Pioneer little aftermarket thing. It's got hands-free. I've got a little battery monitor here that when you got the car on, tell you the voltage of the battery, or if you just got it turned to accessories. Got your chargers and stuff. Keep a torch charging up. It's really handy if you need to work on something at night. I've got my GME mounted under here, and just the handpiece mounted on the dash there. And then that's just my light for my light bar, so a little switch for the light bar, and it runs through the high beams as well, so you can just flick that on, and then when you put the high beams on, the light bar will come on. The rest of the mods that I've done are pretty much all in the back, so I'll open this up and we'll go through what we've got. Just lock that open so it doesn't close on me. So this is the back. This is my little setup. It's pretty simple. I've gone for like a pretty minimal but capable setup. Got a single drawer. I was going to get the double drawer with the wings and everything and turn the whole back into like a platform. But what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to lose the usability here. See, if I fold those seats forward or take the seats out, this back area here is really useful if I want to go mountain bike riding or something. So I kept that nice and clear. Instead of putting the two drawers in, I just went for one and a temporary thing which I can remove if I need to. So I've got the XTM drawer here, like I said, just a single. This is not the one with the fridge slider, and the reason that I didn't get the fridge slider is I'm pretty tall, so I can just reach in the fridge anyway. But if you get the fridge slider, you lose sort of a couple of inches of height, and I wouldn't be able to fit much in the drawer. So I just went with a basic one. I think I got it for about 250 bucks. This is just a tool kit, and it's just in a ammo can. And then I've got some of the bigger tools in here, a folding shovel, I've got the tire deflator, I've got my jumper leads, I've got a tire repair kit back there as well, socket set, some recovery gear, just all the essentials, tools and recovery bits and pieces. And then in this one, I'll open this up and show you, it's got a lot of the bulkier stuff, a lot of the lighter stuff as well, so like tent, sleeping bag, the sidewall for the awning. I've got like a cooking gear in here as well, and I've also got my recovery straps, so they're nice and easy to access, so if I get stuck I don't have to go digging. And like I said, that one can just be removed if I want to use the space for like a bike or something. Got the Max Tracks in a canvas bag. Good tip if you're going to have Max Tracks inside, have a bag to put them in, because you don't realise until you get them muddy, and then it's too late that you're going to make a mess of the inside of your car. So I got the canvas bag for it, and I just chuck them in there and wash it when I get home. This is my fridge. It's a 50 litre Dometic Waco. Dometic bought out Waco. Used to just be Waco, but now they're Dometic. So it's a 50 litre CF50, I think it is. Comes with the insulated cover. I keep it running 24/7 and never drain the battery because, like I said, I got the solar panel on top. And I've just got it strapped on top with these little eyelet mounts, and it's perfect for me. Like I said, I'm pretty tall, so I can just reach in the top there. Don't know what I'm going to do if I bring any short asses camping with me. I guess I'll just have to get them a little step ladder or something. This is just an air filter. I don't normally keep this here as like a spare, I just have it because I haven't installed it yet. Then I've got, this is just a hose, so I can actually make a makeshift shower. I'll show you my water system, my ghetto water system in a minute. But I just put the water jug up the top there and run a hose off it, and I can give myself a bit of a hobo shower. Anderson lead, that one is for the compressor, which I'll show you, and then the compressor lead as well, all through the side door, probably easier to show you there. That's my second battery setup. It's just in one of those battery boxes with all the different connections on it. Thought that would be easier than making something myself. It's about $100 for the box, and it's got, you know, USBs, got the fridge 12 volt input, little sort of voltage gauge, and a couple of Anderson connectors. I might change the fridge at some point to an Anderson connector, but for right now it's working fine. It's just mounted on a little, I'll probably be able to show you better from the other side, but a little bit of plywood that I've installed in there on some brackets. We'll go around the side and I'll show you, because you can see a bit easier from there. There's my ghetto water system, so I can just slide it out like that and use it if I want to. Like I said, if I want to have a shower, I just lift it up, put it on the roof and run the hose off it. Probably in the future, if I plan on doing longer trips, I'll get a bit more water storage, but for now, for 1 or 2 days, it's fine, just for me. In the side here, this is how I get access to my air compressor. Like I said, it's got an Anderson lead on it. I just run the extension to the front of the car and run it off the alternator while the car's running. I could, in a pinch, if I wanted to, run it off this battery as well, but they draw so much current, even being just a single. They draw about 45 amps, and if you get the double, they'll run you about 90 amps, which is just ludicrous. This is my battery charger. It's a C-Tech D250 SA. $350 I think I paid for that. This is literally the perfect little basic setup. And like I said, I got it on some plywood, which is mounted. I actually mounted the plywood on some brackets on the mounts for the rear seats. There's just 2 big bolt holes in there, so I've just mounted it on that. It took a bit of fiddling to get it nice and level, but looks good now. And I've got some black carpet, which eventually I'll put over that to match with this. I was just going out on a trip and I just wanted it all to be functional, so I kind of rushed that one in. That's pretty much it for the mods so far. That's what I was calling my stage 1 setup. You know, bare essentials to get out there and have a good time. Didn't cost too much money. I did all the work myself, so I save a lot of money that way. Yeah, there's other stuff that I want to do, obviously, like I said, but they're things that start to cost a little bit more, and I only paid $6,000 for the car originally, so in order for me to start investing, you know, thousands in these bigger mods, I really want to make sure that I'm going to keep the car for a while. So I'm going to use it, enjoy it, and just see how I feel. And if I want to do those mods later on, I can. Some of the things that I would like to do is I'd like to add some rock sliders, because doing some of the, you know, the rockier sections in the track does make you nervous when you don't have rock sliders. I've got basically zero protection under my car, so I have to be really careful what lines I choose and stuff. It would really be nice to get some sliders, maybe even a little bash plate under there. And the other 2 big things that I'd like to do is get a bull bar with a winch and a rear locker, you know, like an air locker or something. My favorite mod, if I had to pick out of all the things I've done, is the most expensive thing that I've done and was also the biggest pain in the ass to install, but it would have to be the suspension lift. It totally changed the experience. It totally changed how capable the car was. I didn't have to worry as much about hitting the sills and things like that on the rocks. Like I said, it was a massive pain in the ass to install, and I had to do it twice because the springs they gave me for the rear obviously didn't work out. So the rear I actually had to do twice. And if anyone's ever done the rear shocks on a 90 series, then you'll feel my pain. Yeah, it's not great, but that was like 2 days work to do that twice, but definitely worth it. These cars are actually really quite capable. Like I'll show you, I'll put up some video footage of especially the rear, the flex that you can get out of these things. It'll drop a wheel below the sill and fully tuck the other side on the back. The front, it's IFS, you know, you can't really expect too much from it. It does the job. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you like it, then give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions about the car or the build or anything, then leave it in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next video.